Welcome. I'm Amy. We have 60 minutes together to flow. I'm really glad that you're here. Let's go ahead and just get right to it. I'd like to start in a child's pose today. So bring your toes together. Take your knees out wide and let your hands walk out in front of you. As your forehead comes to rest on the mat, take a few moments to allow your mind and your heart to also arrive on the mat. Start to shift your awareness inward. Let the things that are present become most aware in your mind. Notice the way that your body gently moves with your breath. Take the time to slow down that breath. Lengthen out your inhales and allow your exhales to match. Give time and space at the top and the bottom of each breath. In today's practice, I invite you to recognize the simplicity of what is and letting go of any need to do anything. While you're here in this time and space that you've given to yourself, there's no agendas. There's no to-dos. There's nothing but space to be curious, to explore, and to honor exactly who you are in the moment. Take 3 more breaths. Follow your next inhalation to roll up into a tabletop position, landing your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. Drawing at the waist so that your crown pulls away from your tail. And we'll keep it simple. Inhale, let your belly drop low. Lift through the crown and tail. Cow pose. Press through the back, or through the palms of your hands. Lift through the back of your heart and drop your head heavy. Exhaling to cat pose. And do that with your breath 3 or 4 more times. Inhale, soft belly, lifting gaze. Exhale, rounding in. Just feeling this front to back articulation and letting your body start to move on the tide of your breath. Next time you exhale, bring yourself into that neutral spine. With your hands spread wide, look down at your elbows and pull them in just slightly so that the creases are directed more towards the top of your mat. Extend your right leg straight back behind you so your heel and your hip are in one line. And then exhale to lift your heel right over your knee on that left leg. So it's kind of like a scorpion tail. You're going to sweep your right knee towards the right side of the mat, dog at a fire hydrant, and start to make some sweeping circles with your knee. Notice how the weight might shift from one side to the other in your hands. See if you can keep that even and toned through the waist. Now move those circles in the opposite direction. And next time your knee lifts off to the right side of the mat, hold. Kick your right heel out and then drop the inner arch down. Take your left knee just a little bit wider and pull your hips back towards your left heel, ground down through your forehead. Half child's pose with a stretch through your right inner thigh. Give it one full breath. And then inhale, pull forward, bringing your left knee back underneath of your left hip. Lift your right inner arch, squeeze your right heel towards your seat, and sweep the knee back so you're in that scorpion shape again with your tail. You have a choice to keep both hands rooted or stretch your left arm out in front of you with your thumb lifted. On your inhale, the heel lifts and the thumb if your arm is extended. Exhale, draw your right thigh towards your chest. Bring the left elbow to meet right under your navel. Hold here, lift behind the heart, press through the right palm. Inhale, stretch everything out long, and then exhale, hand down, knee down. One round of cow and cat. Let your belly drop, breathe in. Exhale, press through your palms, lift behind the heart. Back to a neutral spine, and we'll go right into the other side. So stretch your left leg back, bend into your left knee, and then sweep your knee off to the left side. Start to move around, opening through your hip. Just notice what kind of mobility you have, any sensations you feel, and how you're breathing, and then honor that. Keep the knee lifted, stretch the left leg out, drop the inner arch down, take your right knee a little wider, and again, sink your hips back, melt down, forehead to the mat, breathe in, and breathe out. Inhale, coming forward again, resolve your right knee underneath of your hip, lift your left arch, bend the knee, sweeping back to find that scorpion tail. Reach your right arm out in front of you if you choose. Breathe in, exhale, really squeeze the heel to the seat. Bring your elbow towards the knee and lift behind the heart. Stretch everything out long. Hand down, knee down. Curl your toes, neutral spine. Exhale, lift your hips, and then walk your hands back towards your feet for a ragdoll at the back of the mat. Space your feet as wide as your hips or wider, and then totally ask for softness in the upper body. So I'm taking a couple of shrugs in my shoulders. You might do the same. Rock the weight around in your feet until you find even distribution front to back and inside to outside on the feet. Now, while you're softly folded into yourself, you might clasp your elbows. You could also try releasing through the face, the jaw, and the brow. We're showing up for what is. One more breath, and if you clasped onto something with your hands, go ahead and release it. Bring your hands toward the top of your feet. As you inhale, you can drag your hands up your shins towards your knees. Lengthen out through the spine. Exhale, send the hands back down towards your ankles. And again, lengthen up. Use a little press of the palms into the shins. Exhale, soften back into your fold. We'll take one more of those. Halfway lift and soften down. Now keep your arms heavy, your knees bent. We're going to roll up one vertebra at a time to come to stand at the back of the mat. Glide your shoulders down your back and gently have your palms open towards the top of the mat. Lengthen the back of the neck. Start to feel the energy of your feet pressing down. Arriving Tadasana. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart and pause for a moment. Blink your eyes closed. Giving yourself space to become aware of what is and that intention to honor it. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, let your hands pass through your heart, hinge at the waist, and pour forward in your fold. We'll take one more halfway lift, and then fold down and walk your hands out to a downward facing dog. Spread your hands wide, and then take a moment to walk it out, bending through the knees, rolling through the ankles, moving about a bit, and then settling into the steadiness of this familiar shape. Let your gaze drop back between your feet. Right here, take an inhale through your nose and open your mouth, generously let it out. Inhale, roll yourself out to a high plank, finding your shoulders over your wrists. Check in with those elbows again. You want them pulling in. Toned through the midsection, pressing out through the heels. Breathe in. Exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Now with the toenail side of your foot down, bring your elbows underneath of your shoulders and your forearms extended straight out, palms down flat on the mat. And I want you to send your awareness towards your feet, starting to build the energy of this posture through the feet. So you'll feel your kneecaps start to lift. Through the low spine, tailbone moving towards your feet, belly button lifting, all the way up towards your shoulders, as if I was standing behind you, pulling your shoulders back slightly. You're gonna feel that lift. Now you can stay right here, just playing with this engagement, or you can spin your pinkies out and just bring your elbows to hover maybe half an inch, maybe an inch off of the mat. But we're using our whole body to open our heart. Take one more breath. And then exhale, let the elbows come out. Bring your chest down to the mat. Hands under your shoulders. Press up through table and rock it back into a child's pose. Stay for one breath in and a complete breath out. Inhale, come forward into tabletop. Exhale, lift yourself into a downward facing dog. From your down dog, we're gonna rise up on the toes, let the knees soften and look forward. Exhale, stepping our way to the top of the mat to fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, release down. Press through your feet with a long spine. Rise up, reach up. Bring your hands to your heart, breathe out. Next breath, inhale, arms up. Exhale, cascade down, forward fold. Halfway lift. Folding down, step back to a high plank. Right away, starting to build towards that Surya Namaskar A. Exhale, lower all the way down. Flip your feet, this time hands under the shoulders. Peel the heart up and linger. Feel the strength in your back, lifting your heart, more so than your hands. Exhale, release down. Inhale, press through table. Rock it back to child's pose, just one breath. Inhale, forward to table. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come up on your toes, let your knees soften. Exhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold as you breathe out. Root to rise, reach tall. Come back home to your heart, breathe out. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fingertips down. This time, step your left foot towards the back of the mat, stacking your front knee over the ankle, and then just tap the left knee down. Keep your back toes curled, hands right under the shoulders, tented. As you exhale, lift your left knee, press out through your left heel, finding a lift right behind the knee. Keep the left hand anchored, send your right arm up, simple twist. Maybe we look up at those fingers. Exhale, bring your hand down. Both hands are firm, three-legged down dog, right leg to the sky. Bending that knee again with a little flex in the foot, we open up through the hip. Make some movements, some circles, some rotations. Heart drawing towards your left thigh. Level off at the hips. Lower your right foot down next to the left. Inhale, take it out to a high plank. Exhale, lower yourself halfway or all the way down. Flip your feet to lift your heart, cobra or up dog. And then waist in, hips high, downward facing dog. Stay here for a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, high on your toes again. Look forward, exhale, step or jump. Inhale, half. Exhale, release. Root to rise, reach tall. Hands to your heart, breathe out. Moving with your breath, reach up. Exhale, fold down. Halfway up. Fingertips down. This time it's your right foot that steps back. Left knee over the ankle. Just tap the right knee down. Curling the toes under and set your hands tented under the shoulder. Exhale, push out through your right knee as push out through your right heel as the knee lifts up. Send your left arm up. Pull in at the waist to find the twist. Exhale, bring your hand down, three-legged down dog. Stretching up through that left leg, then bending at the knee, stacking the hip. Move it around. Leveling off the hips, land your left foot next to the right. We're gonna inhale, roll out to that high plank. Exhale, again, lowering halfway or all the way down. Lift your heart, breathe in. Lift your hips high and back. Breathe out. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. As you exhale, pull it through, knee to nose, step your foot between your hands. You're gonna spin your back foot down, squaring your back foot almost parallel to the back edge of the mat, and rise up, warrior two. Right knee forward, checking in with the placement, knee over ankle, pressing to the outer edge of your back foot. Stretch your arms front to back. Relax the shoulders. We just let our gaze settle out beyond our fingers. Let's bring our left hand towards the left thigh. Flip your right palm and gesture it forward just slightly. Then reach up and tip back. Building some space into your right rib cage. Drop your gaze down to your left foot, and that hand might slide down the leg, then sink into your front thigh. Inhale, come back to warrior two. Exhale, bring your forearm down to your thigh, and we're gonna take sweeping motions now with our left arm. Keep pressing to the outer edge of your left foot, and notice as your arm moves around how it changes the sensation in other parts of your body. Switch directions, those big, curious circles. And next time your arm reaches overhead, pause there, lever down through that right hand to help nudge the knee open and press through the outer edge of your left foot. Now we're gonna send our left hand towards the back of the mat and then sweep it down, bringing ourselves into a fingertip lunge. So we're on the ball of that back foot again. Exhale, pull your hips back, straighten out through your right leg. We take a half lift with our right leg straightened, and then exhale, bow a little deeper. Relax through the back of the neck, and the shoulders can be right over the fingertips, so we can adjust the fingertips so we can have that length without lifting our shoulders up towards our ears. One more breath. Roll forward to find your front knee over your front ankle. Press down through the whole footprint on your left foot. This time we're gonna rise to warrior one. So our back toes are angled a little more of at a 45-degree angle, and the hips are directed forward. So with each shape, we approach it not as a have to. Because everything I'm putting out there, it's just a suggestion. You can take it or leave it. It's that honoring what we notice. And when we struggle to honor what we notice, what does that bring up for us? From Warrior One, bring your hands behind your back. Clasp your knuckles together at the low spine and invite them towards your left heel. Just like we did in that Cobra and Sphinx, the energy coming from our feet all the way up to lift through the heart. Now, nice and slow, pull your right hip back in space, and let's take our heart to melt down towards the inside of our right leg. Humble warrior. Relax through the head and the neck. Just one more breath, and then press through your feet, engage your core. Rise yourself back up. Let's float the arms overhead. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. We'll take a flow, stepping foot back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, roll yourself out to a high plank. Exhale, take it all the way down. Flipping the tops of your feet, come to the forearms again. Another pass at Sphinx pose. And we're gonna do this, a third and final pass a little later as well. So we're building. Press down through your feet. If you want a little less in the low back, take your feet wider. But I want that active engagement coming through your feet. Really think about the energy traveling up through your body, helping to assist, maybe spinning the pinkies out, pressing through the palms. And we don't force, but we also don't close ourselves off to the possibility of what might be available. Use your breath, remembering inhales give you depth or length, and exhales give you depth. One more breath, and then exhale, one vertebra at a time. Melt yourself back down to the mat, hands under the shoulders, pressing up through table and rocking back to child's pose. Stay here. Breathe in, release out, and do that 2 more times. Inhale, exhale. Last time. Follow the inhale to come forward through table, meeting together in downward facing dog. Step feet close together. Stretch your left leg up on the in-breath. Step it through with control on the exhale. Warrior Two, second side. Rise up, opening to the right side of the mat. How often do we notice something within ourselves and choose to ignore it? How often do we choose to muscle through when it doesn't feel like right action? Bring your right hand to your right thigh, flip your left palm, reach forward just slightly, and then stretch up and tip back. What more could we get out of a situation if we truly honored that quiet conversation within ourselves? Come back through Warrior Two, extended side angle prep. Start to reach and make those big circles, creating some space. And noticing as your body moves, what you feel. Switch directions. And next time your arm reaches overhead, linger there. Plug the right shoulder in and peek up under the arm. Lever down through the left hand to come deep and strong through your legs. Reach the right hand back, then sweep it down, bringing yourself into a fingertip lunge. Breathe here. Exhale, straighten out your left leg, pulling your left hip back in space. Hands underneath of the shoulders, come out slightly. Draw the left hip back, exhale, melting down. We find root through the base of our left big toe. Sometimes I won't even be aware of it, but I'll be looking out beyond my toes and I'm creating tension in my neck and shoulders that I don't need. Where are you holding on where you don't need? Exhale, come forward, placing your left knee over the left ankle, spinning the right foot down, setting up Virabhadrasana 1 second side. We rise up. If we're really paying attention, this practice is so engaging. Bring your hands behind your back, interlacing your hands. There's so many places to observe. Pull the knuckles down, pressing through that back foot. Send the energy to lift and open across the collar. And then draw your left hip back in space. Keep pulling the navel in. So even though we're arched in the spine, we're not going soft in our midsection. And bow down. Shared awareness between the strength in the low half of our body and the surrender in the upper half of our body. Press down through your feet. Begin to rise up. Let's float the arms. Take an inhale. Bringing the hands down to flow. Follow your breath. Vinyasa. Roll yourself out, high plank. Let's take it down for that final pass at Sphinx pose. Elbows under the shoulders. And you might build on this coming right into seal pose. But letting go of the need to. Just because the invitation is there to go deeper doesn't mean that you have to. You might walk the hands in a little closer to your body if your spine is ready for that. I like to think of this as the conversation, not the demand. Everything has a say in the outcome. Bring yourself down slowly. Hands under the shoulders, pressing up and back, child's pose. 3 breaths. Come through tabletop to a downward facing dog. Inhale on the toes, soften the knees. Exhale, move to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Look down at your feet, toes towards one another, the heels slightly apart. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, sit your hips down and back, Utkatasana. Working towards further opening the heart, we're gonna work in the back side. So from here, you can take left elbow under right and grab opposite shoulders for a hug, or you can wrap up into an eagle arm. Keep your hips low. Lifting elbows to shoulder height, whether you're hugging or in that full bind. And then if you're in the eagle, press the forearms forward. Now hips are gonna stay low. You're gonna shift the weight into your right foot. Start to squeeze your left heel towards your seat and then draw your left thigh towards your chest, wrapping it high over and around, sink down. Left hip moves back in space. Keep your legs as they are. Unwrap your arms, hands to your heart. Slowly start to press down through your right foot, flexing into that left ankle. Bring the thigh up towards the chest, standing tall first, and then hinge at the waist. Begin to press your left heel back. We're headed nice and slow towards a crescent lunge, making our way for just a beat through warrior 3, and then landing in crescent lunge. Hands at heart center. Actively lifting behind your left leg, front knee staying over the ankle, and shoulders over your hips. Take your right hand to your right hip. My left hand is still at my heart. I'm gonna start to hinge forward at the crown, and then with my palm open on that left hand towards the right side of the mat, I'm gonna straighten out, bringing my forearm to the outside of my right knee. You might be hand, you might be wrist, you might be forearm. Reach long through heel to crown, and then as you exhale, press the knee into the arm, opening the palm and look up over your right shoulder. Keep the hand at the hip, or maybe stretch your right arm up and peek back at your fingers. Now slowly start to rise with your left or right hand reaching towards the back, right hand unthreading, and then we're gonna whirlwind our hands around into a warrior 2 facing the left side of the mat. Straighten through your front leg. You're gonna walk that back foot in just a little bit, but same placement of the foot. Stretching arms front to back. Draw your hips back. Reach out through your right hand and tip into Trikonasana. You can use a block here if you like. Now, more traditionally, your hand would be, or block would be, to the outside of your foot. It's that curiosity, that willingness to show up for what is. You have to be willing to consider you don't know the answer, and that you can try things in new and different ways to gain new insights. One more breath in your triangle. And then rise back up. Drop into your warrior 2. Left hand, left thigh. Again, just a slight reach with the right hand, flipping the palm, reaching up and tipping back. We're headed towards half moon. So we're gonna come through 2. Think about reaching for the block or water bottle or the floor out in front of you, and then push off to balance on your right leg with your hips open, waist drawing in. You're welcome to stay here, extending the arm up, or you can flex into your left foot, start to squeeze the heel towards your seat, and then reach back with that left hand, fishing around to maybe find the edge of your foot and drive your knee towards the back of the mat to open through your heart and dance at your edge. If you have a hold of the foot, gently release. And as gracefully as any of us can, we're gonna stick the landing warrior 2. Straighten through your front legs, spin on your toes, or on your heel, all your toes to the left. Open heart, exhale, bow down, wide-legged fold. I'll give you 4 breaths here. I'm gonna take a nice, easy wide leg ragdoll. If there's something else that you would prefer, please go there. This helps us when we're given the freedom to choose where we go. We're not being told. These seeds of self-exploration are planted. We're cultivating that authentic conversation. One more breath. Whatever you've got going, bring your hands under your shoulders. Halfway lift the spine, and then walk your hands around to frame your front foot. With your back toes curled under, come down onto your back knee. Keep the toes curled under, and we're gonna rock our hips back for a half split. So your hands might make their way back a little bit, finding that length in the spine, and then bowing in. Now, the more you press into the heel, the more you think about pulling it towards your hip, the more sensation you'll have. Whatever decision you make about how to show up for the shape, can you stay in the moment, in the process of curiosity about why you made that choice? Okay, with the long spine, so we're still in this half split with the back toes curled under. We're gonna push off to come into that pyramid variation again. So we take a breath in, and then exhale, just lift your left knee and ground down through the ball of your right foot. You might adjust the back foot slightly. You can stay up off of the back heel. We're working towards a little deeper opening. Lengthening out the back of the neck and breathing. Okay, so just as we came from pyramid, or from the half split to the pyramid, we're gonna take the pyramid to a standing split. So we half lift, hands framing our front foot, shift the weight off of the left foot, and with the flex in that foot, lift it. I don't want you to think about lifting the left leg really high. It's more about lifting up through the back of your right leg and rooting down through the four corners of your right foot. If you want to play with balance, wrap one or both hands around the ankle or shin. When we look at these challenges as fun, as a get to, how does it change the outcome? Start to squeeze your left heel towards your seat and then thread your left thigh to your chest. Stay in your fold and land your left foot next to the right. Fold in. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, bow down. Press through your feet. Root to rise, reach tall. Hands to your heart, breathe out. You make fists with your hands and place them at the small of your back. Look down at the feet. Remember, we did those Sphinx shapes where the energy came from our feet to open our heart. We're doing that here. Pull the elbows back. Start to grow by pressing down through your feet. Let the energy come up and then trust to tip into yourself. Send your breath to those fists. When you feel yourself come to the edge, be patient. And then breathe into your fists. Exhale, pull to a neutral spine. Release your arms by your sides. Give a little wiggle to the fingers. Pause for a moment, blink the eyes closed. Scan the body. Bring the toes towards one another. The heels can slightly be apart. Inhale, float arms high. Exhale, Utkatasana. Your right elbow will be under your left, whether you're hugging opposite hand, opposite shoulder, or taking the eagle arms. Keep the hips low. Start to lift your right heel towards your seat, and then right thigh towards your chest. Bring it up, over and around, and drop down. Keep your legs bound. Unwrap your arms, hands to your heart. Flex into the right foot. Start to rise, pulling the thigh towards your chest. Squeeze the heel towards the seat, all the way to crescent. Take your time. Hands at the heart. Left hand to your left hip. Start to pitch the crown forward. I've got my hand still at my heart, right hand, and then I'm just gonna extend the arm out, bringing the forearm outside my left knee, palm open to the left side of the mat. Breathe in to find length, pressing through the right heel. Breathe out, look up over your left shoulder. And then maybe stretch the left arm up. Now start to reach back with that left hand. Right arm is gonna unthread, and you're gonna send the right arm up, whirlwind the left arm around, warrior two, opening towards the right side of the mat, left knee in the front. Straighten through your left leg without locking the knee. Step the foot in slightly on the back leg. Pull your hips back, reach out in front of you, and find your triangle. Rise up. Drop into that warrior two. Right hand slides down your right leg as you reverse the warrior, stretching up and back, just giving a nice release through the left side body. Preparing to move into Ardha Chandrasana through two. Take your block with you, push off. And then play. You get to approach this shape any way you like. I think if you've been in my classes, you know I love this shape. Flexing your foot, you can squeeze the heel to the seat, grabbing for the outer edge of the foot, expressing it as sugar cane, or as I've been calling it, candy cane. Pull in at the waist, open through the heart, drive that right knee back. Releasing the foot, stretching into half moon again, and then warrior two. Straighten through the front leg, spin all of your toes to the right, arms out wide, lift up through your heart, release down. Wide leg fold, 4 breaths. Again, yogi's choice. One more round of breath. Lengthen to the half lift to walk yourself around, framing your front foot. Back toes curled, drop down on the back knee. Use the exhale to find the half split variation. Kind of like in that half moon. You can flex the whole foot back towards your face, or you can act as though you're pointing your foot forward and then just curl the toes back towards your nose. So it's like you're pushing on a gas pedal with the base of your big toe. Back toes are curled under, getting ready to come up into the pyramid variation. Hands under your shoulders. Exhale, push off on that back knee. Root down through your left foot and adjust to draw your left hip back in space. Use the breath to explore the expression. The places where we feel most resistance, where your body is speaking most loudly to you. Send your breath there. Ask for some gentleness, but also be willing to understand that might mean you need to back off. We're headed towards a needle pose or standing split. So we just shift the weight forward, flex into the right foot and lift it. Bowing over. I always like to come out just slightly so I can tuck the waist in and deepen into it. Balancing, if you like, wrapping hands around the leg. And then with a flex in your right foot, bend the knee, start to squeeze the heel towards the seat. And then exhale, pull your right thigh towards your chest in this fold and land your right foot down underneath of your hip. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release down. Root to rise. Reach up. Hands to your heart. Breathe out. One last back bend before we start winding down. Again, make your fists. Place them behind your back. You also have the option, if you want, placing your palms flat or palms flat, fingertips pointed up. Active press through the feet, start to send the energy up. I'm going to give you about 6 breaths. If you've got something going and you're really feeling into it, stay longer. Once you come out, release your arms by your sides. Let your eyes drift closed. Now just standing, easy standing here. So the knees buoyant. Bend your elbows, bring your fingertips up towards your shoulders and start to make some circles with your elbows. So you get a little release also through the neck. I'm moving my elbows alternately. You can do the same or you can go in unison. Take the time to move in both directions. Honoring that we're carrying a lot of weight on our shoulders right now. So we work on opening our heart, and we work on recognizing the burden. And balancing effort with ease. 2 more breaths, just moving around and noticing. And then release your arms by your sides. We'll take one final flow. Sweep the arms up, inhale. Exhale, dive, release, and fold down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, step or jump back. Take a final flow. Downward facing dog. I'm going to give you 8 or so breaths to come down onto your back. So there might be a pit stop for a child's pose or a sip of water. You might come right onto your back or take some spinal movements. You could even balance on your head for a breath or two. Once you do come onto your back, let's give a full body stretch. And then exhale your right knee up and into the chest. Squeeze it towards the armpit. And then release the right arm out. Use your left hand to guide your knee across your body. And if the knee doesn't want to come all the way to the floor, if that's too deep of a twist for you, you might just make a fist with your hand and rest it right underneath of your knee. Keep your right shoulder blade tacked down. Maybe take a peek over towards the right side of the mat. Exhale, untwist, and just let your right knee fall open. Your foot will land towards the inner side of your left leg, as if you were in a fallen tree. Arms are just soft to either side, palms gently open. Let your glute relax. Let your hip relax. Let your face relax. In the next breath, start to stretch your right leg out. Reach both arms overhead. So you've got another full body lengthening. Might wiggle the toes. And if a sigh helps you embrace the unwind, go there. Left knee up and into the chest, squeezing it more towards the outer side of the ribs so you can get a nice deep stretch into the hip. Opposite hand will guide it across the body. Again, no deeper than feels good in your body. Exhale, untwist. Let the left knee fall open, resting the foot to the inside of your right leg. Now from here, keep your left leg as it is. You'll bend the right knee again, placing the foot on the mat next to your left foot, and then let the right knee fall open one more time for a Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of feet together, knees wide. Keep your arms outstretched if that feels best, or rest your hands, one on your heart, one on your belly. Bring your hands down towards your outer thighs and help your knees to close. Toe heel your feet to the edges of the mat and let the knees knock together a couple times. And then pause with the knees tented towards the middle of the mat and pull your tailbone towards your feet to press down through the lumbar spine, giving a release to that low back. And then bring the natural curve back into your spine. Now we're going to take one final back bend expression, but of course you always have choices. I'm going to use my block underneath of my low back for a supported bridge. You can do the same, or you can take something more active. You can take a full bridge or a full wheel, or you could even place the block underneath the sacrum and just extend your legs straight up. You decide how high you want this to go. We've worked quite a bit already. So you can go low, medium, or high, or as my teacher used to say, mild, medium, or spicy. Walk in through the shoulders. And if you've come along with this supported offering, just notice how it feels to take a helping hand. Consider that maybe our fullest expression, our most authentic expression, isn't the biggest, the boldest, the flashiest. Maybe it's understanding when we should be big and bold and when we should accept the assist. If you're in this supported pose, let's take 3 more breaths. If you were doing it without the support, go ahead and bring yourself out and take a moment to rock your knees side to side, maybe hug them into the chest. Of course, if you're with this support and it feels good and you want it longer, go for it. Once you roll that support out, come down again to a neutral spine, pausing for a moment, knocking the knees together or rocking your knees side to side. And then to me, we're just about ready for Shavasana. But if to you there's something else left unanswered, explore that. And only when you feel ready might you collect your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug, the kind of hug that you give to somebody that you genuinely care for. Drop your chin to your chest. Bring your forehead up towards your kneecaps. Hold in close and breathe energy into this little space. Feel into that tension. And then meet it with its opposition. Exhale to unravel, unfurl, and let go. Coming to rest in Shavasana or perhaps seated meditation. As always, if your schedule allows you to stay and rest longer, please feel welcome and encouraged to do so. If it's time for you to move on, start by deepening your breath. Find some flutters in your fingers and your toes. And as those movements grow through your body, you can gently support yourself onto one side, maybe lingering with your head cradled and your knees bent. Or coming all the way to a seat. If you prefer, joining me wherever you are, eyes closed, hands at the heart. Take a moment to consider the freedom of being the observer within yourself. That freedom of giving yourself permission to not have to do anything, even if it's only for the time you're sitting on your mat or moving on your mat. Consider the value of the curiosity to notice, to get quiet, and to respond to what you observe. Participate in the quiet conversations so that there is no yelling. Everything that we are and everything that we're not, moment to moment, is always enough. And so we practice. I bow to you. I say thank you. I send you a smile as I sincerely acknowledge that the light and the love that's in me sees and honors the light and the love that's in you. Namaste.